Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Andrew, and I'm here to cover the spoilers for One Piece Manga Chapter 1058. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting chapter from what we see with the spoilers for this week, because we're getting bounty reveals, not just for the Straw Hats, but also for the Cross Guild, as well as from what we see with the spoilers, there's some new information that we get from the Cross Guild, who actually discovered it, why certain characters are a part of it, and the reveal of why Buggy is actually the Emperor, because it's going to be exactly how you think it's going to be, but also exactly how you think it's going to be. So let's just dive right into it. So for starters, apparently the cover page is going to be Caesar asking the Germa to go with them. This makes sense, so this potentially means that the gas weapons did affect most likely Katakuri as well as, I think it was Oven? Yeah, it was Oven, so most likely they are passed out in this image, hopefully, and then you just have Caesar asking the Germs like, hey, can I come with you? So either they're going to reject or accept him, so that's going to be something to look forward to within this cover story, but also something interesting, and let's dive right into it, is the title of the chapter, A New Emperor, where it's revealed all of the Straw Hat Crew's bounties. They're all revealed, and some of these bounties are more understandable and a little bit more making sense, while others just straight up just don't make sense. And I'm looking at you, Chopper. You know what? Let's go with Chopper. He has 1,000 berry. That's better than 10. It's better than 100. But also, it's literally 1,000. So he's like worth $10. So that's hilarious. So Chopper still has a very low bounty. But let's go from bottom to the top. Nami is next at 366 million berry. Brook is at 383 million berry. Frankie is at 394 million berry. God Usopp has 500 million berry, which is actually the same amount of berry that Luffy had at one moment in his life. So most likely at the end of the series, Usopp will have 1,500,000,000 berry. I'm calling it now. So yeah, that may be a cool callback. Robin has 930 million berry bounty. And here's where it gets very interesting when it comes to bounties and power scaling. The fourth highest bounty on the Straw Hat crew, third if you don't include Luffy, Sanji, at 1,032,000,000 berry. Or should I clarify, 1 billion berry and then 32 million. Like, it's not 32 million, but you have the zero in between it. So yeah, that makes sense. Oh gosh, it's so yeah. So yeah, if I was saying 320, I would have said 320. So yeah, Sanji's bounty is the third highest if you don't include Luffy, and second highest is Jinbei at 1,100,000,000 berry. Oh, this is going to be causing such a havoc when it comes to power scaling. But we also have to remember that Jinbei is considered like a warlord, so that's probably the explanation for why his bounty is slightly higher than Sanji's. But what makes it even more hilarious is the highest bounty on the crew, if you don't include Luffy, is obviously Zoro at 1,101,000,000. So it's not like Jinbei is significantly below. Oh my gosh, Oda's just stroking the flames. It's not that Jinbei is significantly lower than Zoro. It's off by 1,000,000. And I find that just to be hilarious. Especially, none of these bounties are even that far away from each other. It's not like with Jack that was like at 1 billion, like even almost. And then you got King and Queen, which are like 300 or 400 million more. No, it's like they're all within the same range. So Even though, like, they're all like, oh my gosh, Sanji has the third highest bounty. If you don't include Luffy, they're relatively the same, relatively speaking. If you took literally any one of them in, you would get around the same amount of belly. So, yeah, that makes sense. I just enjoyed that. And this is going to cause so much havoc in the fandom. But now let's go into some more of the unexpected but completely expected parts that were going to be in this chapter. For instance, Buggy is not the leader of the Cross Guild. He is one of the new emperors by mistake of the Navy. Of course. I'm not surprised. This is just how Buggy fails upward. At the very least, they realize that it's a mistake, but they can't go back on it. And later on, we get an explanation for why they thought this was the case, because when they saw the Cross Guild poster, they saw that he was up front and center, so they assumed that he was the leader of the Cross Guild. So that makes sense. And eventually in the spoilers, we see that the actual person that actually founded the Cross Guild was Crocodile, which, you know what, makes a whole lot of sense. That is just something that Crocodile would do. And it also states that Mihawk was receiving an invitation to join the Cross Guild, and he accepted it. And since Buggy Face was on the middle, like I said, the Marines thought that he was the leader. So this makes a whole lot more sense. I'm pretty sure people predicted that this could have been the case, and like I said, it just fits with Buggy failing upwards. Now, something else that is interesting when it comes to what is revealed in this spoilers is that Buggy owes a huge debt to someone. Now, is this like an actual physical, like monetary debt? Or is it like a debt as in like someone helped like protect like his empire or protect him when the navies were going after him? I think that potentially the debt that he owes could be to Crocodile, which is why he also joined Cross Guild. It doesn't necessarily say who this is, but we also learn a little bit more about Mihawk and how his title in the past was titled Marine Hunter. So, yeah, it makes sense for why he would join the Cross Guild, which is their main objective is literally going out and capturing Marines. So, ooh, and I find it interesting that he was called the Marine Hunter, which means at one moment in Mihawk's life, he was a pirate that specifically went after Marines. Or heck, maybe he was never a pirate at all, and he just always went out after the Marines, so the Marines were like, nope, put a bounty on his head, put him into the Marines so he would stop killing us. That would be something interesting that I would like to see in this chapter, but I'm sorry about that noise. But for the last part of the spoilers, we get more into the bounties of Mihawk, Buggy, and Crocodile, and it's revealed that Mihawk has 3,590,000,000 berry. This is important because this means that as soon as he has a bounty, he's already at, if not near, the level of an emperor. Specifically, he surpasses Luffy's bounty, which would have made more sense if they made Mihawk an emperor. But, you know, Mihawk doesn't have as much influence on the world as Luffy or even Buggy. But it makes sense that his bounty is that high. It's not like, it makes sense that his bounty is this high, but it's not higher than like Big Mom's, or specifically not higher than Kaido's. But I think this actually matches or is around the bounty of Shanks. So it makes sense that this would be his bounty if it's on the level of Shanks, because they sparred against each other, and I highly doubt either of these characters have gotten weaker since their first sparring session. So that would make sense. Buggy has 3,189,000,000. So yeah, it makes sense. If they assume that he is like the leader of the Cross Guild, yeah, of course he would have a bounty that high. And then Crocodile's is 1,965,000,000. So it's almost 2 billion, which is really good. And it's even higher than what Luffy's was when he became an emperor. So it makes sense that their bounties are this high, and the fact that we even get their bounties is amazing. But the final piece of information in this chapter comes from this one line. At the end of the chapter, the Revolutionary Army receives a call. It's me, Sabo. For instance, this confirms that Sabo is alive. We're going to get probably more information about what the heck Sabo did, if not in this chapter, definitely most likely in chapter 1059. So that's going to be something interesting to see. And we're going to be on break next week because of course. But you know what? After this chapter comes out, this is going to be a massive, and I mean a massive chapter that I can't wait to actually review proper. But yeah, this is all I really have to say on the topic for One Piece. Hopefully you enjoyed the spoilers. What did you think? Do you think that these bounties are at levels that are appropriate to the Straw Hats or even appropriate to the characters? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!